Fuck it. I'm doing something else. I'm stood up. I'm not a bitch. Only bitches and pussies sit down. Anyway, this is the musical show, the show where I talk about music. It's in the fucking title. Let's go. Starting off with some of the albums I missed, including Young Father's Space Heavy, and going all the way back to January here. And in January, what the fuck happened? Nothing happened in January. To be honest, I did know this album existed since January, but I snubbed it. But you know what? I thought they sounded good at Glasgow, and fuck it, I'll listen. And it was good, and it had a unique sound. But lyrically, I don't think it was always for me, and some instrumentals sort of fell a bit flat. But the highs are fucking high, such as I Saw. I Saw was a great track. And yeah. And what works. But unfortunately, I don't think everything works. But a lot of things do. And it's a good project. 7.6 out of 10. Bada bing, bada bum. I'm going to close this door. Don't know why I did that. Moving on to Iggy Pop. Again, January with Every Loser. And have you ever seen an album drop by a relatively big artist and think, why the fuck did I skip it? And then listen to it and realise, that's why I skipped it. Kinda what I did here. Because as good as the instrumentals and the production were in that respect, the lyrics and the singing were garbage. Here's a line from Neopunk, if I even asked Ed to turn it in, about him flashing his junk, even though he's in his 70s, I think. Give me a mo. He's 76, yeah. And that's what he's singing about. God help us. God help society. If this is what all our granddads are going to start talking about, flashing their junk. Welcome to 2023. I mean, Iggy Pop's always been a massive fucking weirdo, but you think at old age he sort of stop. But yeah. Lyrics were awful. And unfortunately, not a great album. 4.3 out of 10. Moving on to A Fever Ray, Radical Romantics, very, very quickly. Again, didn't get this one. And, don't know why it's so popular with, the critics and that. And as unique as it is, it just doesn't sound very good. The vocals are very hit and miss, the lyrics suck, and the instrumentals just don't sound very good. The closure Bottom of the Ocean as well is so goddamn boring, and, yeah. It had some tracks that actually did kind of work, but only some on a 10-track album. You can't get away with that with so little tracks. And don't get it. Sounds like the most cheap, boring, experimental pop. Because that's exactly what it is. 4.7 out of 10. And now for album review. If I can even talk. Time for an album re-review. I don't know why I did that. Foo Fighters, But Here We Are, which is an absolutely phenomenal but heartbreaking album. The production, which some may class as not the best, to me is outstanding, and I love how loud and messy it is, as it fits in so well with the topics described in the album, and depicts how loud the thoughts can be, if you know what I mean. Incredible lyrics, sounded great sound. It sounded better in my head. Oh my god. Why do I keep saying sound? And I'm not sure if I've ever heard more emotive vocals in an album. But Here We Are just has such passionate vocals. Hearing voices is just beautiful. The harmonizations on Show Me How are Chef's Kiss. The Teacher and Rest are two of the best songs of the year, and so fucking heartbreaking. I don't know why I called Rest corny at first. People grow, okay? Maybe not in height, I'm 5'1". Under You, I think, is the most in-your-face example of just the amount of outpouring of grief, but even the songs where it's told a little bit more cryptically, they're not even told that cryptically. It is obvious by a certain point. But Under You is the most in-your-face version of sort of the lyrics and that. But Rescued was just quintessential Foo Fighters done in the best way possible. And Honestly, genuinely phenomenal, but it did genuinely hurt to listen to. And the band and the album, I think, is a massive triumph in how to move on. And also how to, like, use your interests to move on. Which they sort of did here by grieving through music. And using, like, tools and that to get over it and get their mojo back, I suppose, mentally. But they've definitely got their mojo back musically here for sure. Fuck you. 11 out of 10. I'll break the system. I don't give a fuck. Finally, let's get onto the albums this week, in which there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There was this many, 10 technically, but one's a really short EP, which I'm actually going to review first. A Little Big Guy again, with Boring 2 weeks in a row, but this one's way better. It was made in an hour, but for an hour, these 6 beats are actually pretty impressive for the most part, and instrumentally, synth-wise, are really good. So I'm pretty sure he like chose the best ones on BandLab, I suppose. Although BandLab's actually pretty solid. Even if there is a dud or two. If he like puts genuine proper effort into this beats, just imagine what he could do. The beats could be fire if he can make a 6 out of 10 6-minute EP in an hour. Alright, at last, let's get into it. Starting off with Kim Petras' feed the beats, to absolutely no one's surprise, this was shit. Almost as shit as Kim is as a person. Lyrically, unbearable. You might as well be fucking honest here. Had Unholy for no reason. And was so bad that she might turn this into a mixtape so she can try the whole debut album thing again. Honestly. Instrumentally bland, vocally shite, attempts at hyperpop made me want to die. The chorus on Burr, there's literally a song called Burr. Genuinely one of the worst things I've ever heard, and this is one of the worst albums I've ever heard. Honestly, there's nothing good about it whatsoever, apart from maybe the drums on Burr. When it comes to transgender artists, don't ask for Kim Petras. 0.5 out of 10. And now from the transgender to the homophobic with Young Thug's Business is Business, which is inconsistent as fuck, but unfortunately has more low lows than high highs. Feature-wise, 21 Savage was amazing and carried both songs that he was on, but could only do so much because the rest of the song was just so awful. Drake had one of his best faces, and while Paradise on Cleveland sort of fell flat, I could see what he was trying to do, and I do admire that. Nate Royce was beautiful, and his message just made perfect sense considering what Young Thug is in situationally. I don't even know if that's a word, but it is now. Lil Uzi sucked though, and Travis was mixed in awfully in with the Racks, which would have actually been a really good feature. And Abracadabra, he just did this type of thing that I just don't like. With the Racks also was one of the worst choruses on the album. I don't know why you're fingering a cat. That must be a new low in Young Thug's lyricism. It's what I would have said if he didn't use homophobic slurs on more than one occasion. On Gucci Grocery Bag, he used the F slur, shortened, and he also used the D slur on Jonesboro. F slur is also on the Future feature on Cars Bring Me Out, which is a god-awful song, by the way. But, yeah. Oh You Went, though, is a high. Undeniably. Drake's best verse since, like, pretty much ever. And as much as I hate Jonesboro lyrically, and to be honest, rapping-wise, Young Thug kind of sucked, it's one of the best beats that I've heard in a fucking long time, and it carries so goddamn hard. As I said, Gucci Grocery Bag, homophobic. Abracadabra, rancid. Cars Bring Me Out, again, awful. Hellcat Kenny is one of the worst written songs I've ever heard. That Uzi verse sucked. But, yeah, as I said, inconsistent. Some beats also just sucked and made both songs with 21 Savage so much worse, and also made Hellcat Kenny so much less bearable than it maybe would have been. And, yeah, lyrically, again, it was awful. It went from, this isn't too bad, and, like, went through it, to homophobic on multiple tracks. And yeah. Overall, crap album due to the sheer boringness of the beats for the most part, the sheer carrying that the features had to do, and the sheer just offensive lyrics, both metaphorically and literally. 3.6 out of 10. Next up, we got DJ Scheme and Danny Towers with Safe House, which is kind of one of the weirdest albums I've ever heard, because you can get some like fucking fire cuts with an incredible Denzel Curry feature, to some of the most awful, rancid beats and songs that you had heard in a fucking long time, such as in Roll Struck. Roll Struck is god awful. And yeah, unfortunately, for the most part, it was just a bit like dull. And the rapping was also just dull. It was just a very dull album. And as much as Red Rum Band, I'm pretty sure it had used a sample that has already been used pretty much on multiple occasions. And yeah, as I said, Denzel Curry feature was amazing, but really, it's just an inconsistent album that, even though it does have some high-ish highs, is always a bit dull. 4.8 out of 10. Moving on to Kelly Clarkson's Chemistry, which is annoyingly mid. Vocally, sometimes it was mixed in awfully, and the instrumentals were nothing special, even though some of them were pretty fucking good. There were some bangers, but some songs were just awful. And given she's 41, why the fuck's she making a song about red flags? It's cringe at 19. Trying to make a teen pop album pretty much, but it just turns out to be millennial garbage. Is pretty much all I'm going to say about this one. Pretty much sums it up. 4.9 out of 10, don't arse. Moving on to Coi Leray. How the fuck is Coi Leray not like bottom one? Mental. Fair play, like, I mean, it's still mid, but yeah. Coi Leray with Coi, which is very hit and miss. There are great tracks such as Bitch Girl and Radioactive, but Make My Day and Man's World have some of the worst sampling I've ever heard, and David Guetta needs to retire because he's shit. And to be honest, as much as he might have nostalgia for some of his earlier shit, he always has been. Honestly, this album has some of the most garbage beats I've ever heard, but like, the rapping was sometimes fine, but like every so often it was pretty solid. And as I said, there were highs, there were some decent enough beats. And it was never usually that bad, aside from like the aforementioned tracks and maybe one or two others. But yeah, got the odd decent track, but like it's really not worth your time more than like maybe one listen. It's only like 36 minutes long, so you can sort of get away with that. Mid as fuck, 5.3 out of 10. Moving on to Maisie Peters with The Good Witch, which, as mid as the album may fucking be, mainly due to how shit the lyrics are, I do admire the sort of sound she brings to the table in like the sort of indie teen popish sort of current existence phase thing. You know what I mean? I think she has a cool sound, and I do enjoy how her vocals sound and are mixed in. The production was pretty damn solid, but even with all of that, it's never anything special. And as I say, the lyrics are garbage and bring a lot of songs down pretty damn low, and prevents the highs for the most part. Aside from maybe the opening track, The Good Witch, and which is also the title track, the highs aren't that high. 5.4 out of 10, pretty mid. Moving on to Portugal the Man with Chris Black, Changed My Life, which instrumentally was mostly pretty meh, aside from the few songs where they were incredible. It was fucking weird. And he somehow managed to completely fuck up having a song with Black Thought and Natalia Lafourcade. Black Thought was mixed in awfully, not really his fault, and Natalia Lafourcade did sound pretty solid, but like the instrumental just wasn't that good. And it just ended up sounding basic. High highs and pretty low lows, in a nutshell. Lyrically, it wasn't the best. But like, yeah. Some tracks were incredible, some weren't, and were like more on the mid-trash end. 7.3 out of 10 though, there were more highs than lows. And this is also ranked wrong, just like the original version. There's a 4.4 and then 4.7. Usually I do them in order of how they're ranked. But spoiler alert, this one's lower than the 7.3. Jason Mraz's mystical, magical, rhythmical, radical ride. As corny as the album title is, the album somehow manages to be cornier. But still, it was pretty fun, to be honest. Instrumentals, as 2008 as they are were fun as fuck, and it just had such like a sort of musical feel in pretty much every way, which also meant it was corny as fuck, but hey ho, it still banged. And yeah, there's pretty much all there is to say. A fun album that banged, but was a bit theatre kiddie. 6.7 out of 10. But at the top is, of course, it's fucking Swans with the Beggar. It's always going to be Swans, isn't it? But this wasn't really that good of a week. And the top end of the spectrum still ends up being pretty run-of-the-mill. Like, for Swans, this isn't that special. They've pretty much done everything before that they did here. And the Beggar was fucking mid, the title track. But songs like Ebbing and the 40-minute... hang on, what do you want? Right, cool. Give me a second. Ebbing was incredible, and as was the 43 minutes. The Beggar Lover 3. They were two great fucking tracks. As I said, The Beggar 3 is 43 minutes long. I don't know how they always manage to be compelling throughout, but you know, Swans, I guess, are miracle workers and that sort of thing. But yeah, it's still, that aside, nothing special for Swans. Pretty run-of-the-mill by their standards, unfortunately. But run-of-the-mill is still hella impressive for Swans because they are that good of a band. How can a run-of-the-mill, nothing special album still be a 7.6? The band are Swans. There you are. But this is probably one of the most hip-hop orientated weeks all year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 albums out this week. And obviously, everyone knows about this first one. Lil Uzi Vert has finally, after all of the probably 2-3 years of hype, dropped the Pink Tape. Featuring Travis Scott, rapping about hitting the gritty, Nicki Minaj, Bring Me the Horizon, Don Toliver, and Baby Metal, including 3 bonus tracks. Including the bonus tracks, it's 26 songs, 1 hour, 27 minutes long, but without them, it's probably around like 1 hour 20. And I'd say 6, because it's going to be bloated, but like it's going to have some fucking high highs from what I've heard. Next up is a very short 4-track Alchemist EP that I'm probably going to review separately, like I do with Lil Big Guy, because it's that fucking short. Actually, no, not 13 minutes. It's like 13 minutes long. I'll just review it normally then, like, it's fine. I've already listened to it, and it sounds like an Alchemist EP. That's all I'm going to say. Next up, Currency is back, not with for motivational use only Volume 2, as much as I would have liked it to be that. It's Vices with Harry Fraud. This features Benny the Butcher, Jim Jones and Tommy Wright, as well as Larry June, GT, Rome Street and Vico. Stacked fucking feature list. 9 songs, 22 minutes long. We're going to get yet another 8 out of 10 short Currency project. Next up we got Ryla Rodriguez with Bin One, which features SG, Lil Baby, Friday, Lil Durk, Lil Yachty, No Cap and Lil Papa. 19 songs, 1 hour 2 minutes long, 2. It's going to be an awful trap album. I just know it is. Next up we got Nino with Knee, featuring Lil Baby again. Jesus Christ, Lil Baby's getting all the features this week. I think he has a song with The Weeknd as well this week. So, Lil Baby's getting shit. Also features Omar Lay, Aya Star, and Central C. 16 songs, 56 minutes long. 3, maybe? Yeah, 3. Next up we got Toby Lowe, who I think was meant to drop like a few months ago with this fucking album, because I saw him on like a Jar Talk Music little grid page, but he's finally dropped Decent, featuring it's a collab album with Ferrada, featuring Polo G, Dame Dollar, Glassface, Ralomac, Chief Keef, Twice, Saba, and Internet Boy. Not gonna lie, That's that's a fucking stacked feature list. 26 minutes long, 8 songs. I'm gonna say a 7. But that Chief Keef and Saba on the same song is ridiculous. And finally, we got TV Girl with Grapes Upon the Vine. 12 songs, 41 minutes long. Meant to be a really weird album. So for that, I'm gonna say a 9. I'm only messing. 7. But yeah, that's it. I don't know whether I really like doing it stood up and not sure if it brings much. But oh well, I'll still blabber on about shit for way too long. But hopefully it's funny. Hopefully it's fun to watch. And hopefully you'll like Pink Tape as much as I hopefully will like Pink Tape, considering all the hype for it. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't even like Lil Uzi's, but even I got on the hype train because of how hyped everyone else was. And it's just cool to see people so excited for like a new album and shit. I haven't seen hype like that for fucking months. Because like most of the albums to be hyped for, aside from Utopia, obviously, but that's not meant to be out until at the moment we think mid to late July. Haven't seen an album this hyped up in fucking months. Probably not seen anything like this since Hair Loss, which was pretty solid. But yeah, I hope I enjoy that. I hope you do. And if you're not listening to it, what are you listening to? What are you going to listen to? Is there anything you're going to listen to from this week? Not even TV Girl, TikTok's Lover Boy, but Lover Man, I think. Who gives a shit? It's TV Girl. But yeah, what are you all going to listen to? Are you going to listen to anything? Are you hyped for anything coming out in the next few weeks? Like Olivia Rodrigo's dropping in September, so is Oliver Tree, if anyone still listens to him, which the answer to that is no. Yeah. You're hyped for anything? Because I'm liking the look of this week. This is a stacked week, you know. This is the most stacked week in months. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Do you like this sort of format thing? Do you not? Just tell me in the comments if you can even be asked in a bit.